Hi guys. So we're here to talk about the scholarships or program and everything that comes with it, so that the people who are going to actually apply for this program know it better and know some of the pitfalls, some of the advantages and disadvantages. So at first, I would like to um, I would like you to introduce yourselves to the audience. So go on.
Okay, hello, my name is Samuel, and I am a second year master student here at VUB in Photonics. And I come from Colombia, so I had my home university there. And my background is in engineering physics, and I have specialized in optics, and I did my thesis in optics, and now I'm just here in Brussels.
All right, that's great. How about you, Ahmed?
Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed Bayoumi. I'm a second year master student here. I almost finished most of my requirements in the program. I'm currently working on my thesis on inverse design of photonic devices with Professor Francesco Ferranti. I came from Egypt, from Mansoura University. I studied a Bachelor of Electronics and Communications Engineering.
All right. How about you, Samuel? What are you working on right now?
I'm doing my thesis on space optics, like on remote sensing to perform the optical design of a wide field of view camera
Right, that's
to monitor
great.
the climate change.
Amazing topics for both of you. Really happy that the students here are doing cutting edge research with B-PHOT. But when you wanted to actually apply for a master's, how did you get to know about B-PHOT, about the, then EMSP, now MSPE program? So how did it happen for you guys?
For me, there are couples of Egyptian students here in the program, and it had already a very nice reputation. And like lots of the research areas that were going either in B-PHOT or the Photonics Research Group at Ghent were very appealing to me. So that put the program on top of my priority lists.
All right, that's great. So you heard it from the other students, from the alumni actually of your university about this program.
Not alumni, like specifically it was Ayman and also Mahmoud. They came from Vrije University where I worked for a year. So,
all right.
Yeah.
How about you, Samuel?
In my case, I I had to perform an internship during my bachelor, so I was searching for one in Europe, and I came out to find this one. And then at the same time, some other students from my university in Colombia started a PhD here. So we started like to grow, like the Colombians and so on here at B-PHOT.
Yeah.
After I did the internship here at B-PHOT, it caught my attention. So I get to know what is photonics, and I like it a lot. So yeah, I convinced myself, and I wanted to do the master here. So I started all the procedure 1 year before starting, more or less, to get to know what VUB, what the master is about. I compare with other masters in Europe and so on, and I like this one a lot.
All right. And how about the scholarships? Like, did you know beforehand that there were scholarships, or did you get to know in the process when you were applying, when you were giving interviews? Did you know then? When did it happen for you guys?
Yes, in my case, I saw it during the process that there was the possibility of applying for scholarships, that it was included. Like within the application itself, you are immediately directly applying for the scholarship. So you have the normal interview for the motivation for the master. Why do you want to study? And then there is this more technical interview for the scholarships.
Yeah. How about
it's the same case.
It's the same.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the same case with me. Actually, the application website is very crystal clear. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when people are starting to apply for MSPE, so there is a whole process going on. Like firstly getting to know MSPE, then applying, pre-enrollment, interviews, and everything. So can you guys maybe take us through the process, like what happens in each step until you get fully enrolled and you're in Brussels?
Okay, Samuel, you can start if you want.
Yes. So for my case, I initially applied. There was an online form to fill some documents, some
In
information
B-PHOT's
about.
website or VUB's website? Like, was it a separate thing or
No,
was it
the
in?
master in photonics website that right now is
Right.
called Study Photonics.
All right.
So, but that one is associated to both VUB and Ghent.
All
And
right.
the online form applies for both universities at the same time.
So you don't have to apply for Ghent separately from VUB or vice versa.
At
There
the
are not. There
I
are
don't
no
know.
forms.
No, it's just one, but I believe that right now what you do is that during the first interview, you start to select which university would you like to apply to. So
Or
it's just like this general, like the background questions, and then at the first interview, I guess you define that. But once you start the enrollment and so on, of course, you have to select the university itself. So you enroll at that university, and at the same time, you should start applying for the visa for the non-EU students. So
yeah.
to compile all these documents to apply for the visa, like 3 months at least before starting to well before coming here to have
Yeah.
everything ready.
So you apply for it through the form that you said, a single form for both universities. Then you have your first technical interview, which checks your academic knowledge about the field. And then, as you said, there is like a pre-enrollment that you have to choose between one of the universities so that you can actually start your enrollment and submit your files and so on. So what's next, Ahmed? What happens
Yeah.
after that?
Yeah, so this is the first step, and afterwards you get another interview for the scholarship. If you pass the first step of the the technical interview, and then you get also some technical questions during the second interview, and I believe they sort the students depending on their answers for the questions. And I believe also like the top 5 students get the scholarship, the full one. And also one student gets the B-PHOT Excellence Scholarship.
All right, all right. So after this scholarship interviews and so on, then what happens? So I think there is like a time period between you give your interview until you get an answer. And then after you get an answer, either you get a scholarship or not. Then what happens?
Well, you have to start the if you have to decide. Of course, you have to give the final confirmation that you agree to take this program and take the scholarship. And afterwards, you start the visa application and collect all the required documents and so on.
Yeah. So after you get your visa, you get in the plane, you get to Brussels. After a while, the normal thing is that you have your actual documents with you, legalized and everything, and you would give it to the university in your enrollment day, and you get actually registered as a student at VUB or Ghent. So that's the whole process from application to fully registration and enrollment. So I want to ask you, if I may, what type of scholarship are you guys receiving? So maybe Samuel can go first.
Yes, in my case, I received the PUB Excellence Scholarship, Photonics Scholarship, that is
Yeah.
5,000 euros per year.
All right. And how about you, Ahmed?
Yes, I'm receiving the full scholarship, around 10K euros per year.
All right. And the money that you're getting, did you get it like when they say that you are getting the scholarship? Do you get it in one place, or is it like in different installments? Do you get it monthly? How is it?
Yeah, it's typically a monthly payment, but when you first arrive in Brussels, you get 3-month payments in advance, so that it's easier to smoothen your transition and to easier your settlement here. And
Yeah.
afterwards, it's paid monthly.
And in the case of mine, for the VUB Photonics Excellence Grant, it is at the beginning also given half of the scholarship, so 2,500 for the first 4 months, and then afterwards a second payment of the other half. So it's just 2 installments.
Yeah, 2 installments then.
Yes.
And how much is it? Each one like 1,250?
No, 2,500 each one.
Each
The half.
one.
Yes.
All right. And Ahmed, how about you? How much do you get paid monthly?
It's 850.
850.
Yeah.
Right. And are there any specific requirements for this scholarship? So you apply for this scholarship automatically, as Samuel said, but to get considered for it, is there any specific requirement? Do you have to submit something, or I don't know, say something about it, or everything is automatic? You don't need anything. How does it work?
I guess it's, if I could remember correctly, there is a checkbox in the application that says whether you would like to be considered for the scholarship or not, and that's all you need to do. I guess it's given for non-Europeans. I'm not quite sure about that. Maybe that could be a requirement, but that's all I could think of.
And there's also something like during the form, maybe they ask you if you have enough money to cover your studies. And if you put that you have, that doesn't disqualify you for the scholarship. The scholarship is given for merit, for knowledge. So that's why we have a technical interview that tests your skills and knowledge about optics and so on, general knowledge. And that's what also qualifies you. Well, and also when you submit your CV, that also helps. For example, that the board or the master selects you.
Yeah. So as Samuel said, it's merit-based. So there is no specific requirement, and it doesn't matter if you're European, non-European. It actually considers everybody equally, which is really great. So from anywhere you are, you can easily apply for the program and also be considered for the scholarships. So does both of your scholarships include any of the fees? Like, for instance, we get a lot of different fees like insurance, tuition fees, fee for the courses. A lot of things are there. For instance, I think for me it was around 944 euros for the full academic year. So does your scholarships cover any of these fees?
No, not really. The money you have to pay that from the money itself of the scholarship. So no, it is not something on top. Is you have to take out some money of the scholarship itself to pay the insurance and the tuition fee.
Yeah, exactly. And also for the full scholarship, you just as you mentioned, it's around 1K for the tuition fees at VUB. And I guess also the program is doing some sort of a reduction of the fees for the photonics students. So that's a good thing, of course. And also, and living in Brussels, it's pretty affordable to, you could cover everything with that scholarship, almost everything. So, for instance, I'm paying here. I'm staying in the student housing, and I'm paying around 320 euros per month. So I guess it's quite affordable.
Yeah. So it's very important to note that it doesn't matter if you're receiving a scholarship or not. As a master student in this program, you're gonna get these advantages. It doesn't matter if you're receiving a scholarship. It's very important and it's really nice. So, can the scholarship cover all your expenses, or well, do you need more financial assistance, or do you need to have like more money to cover yourself? How is it with both scholarships?
Well, in my case, no, it doesn't cover everything. So my family has to also help me, but it's a great help anyways.
Yeah, for my case, it almost covers everything. As I mentioned, living here in Brussels, it's not quite expensive, and also like you are in a very vibrant area, and everything you need is around you, and the housing is quite affordable, as I mentioned before. So yeah, it's I guess it could make you cover like the scholarship could actually cover most of your expenses.
Yeah. So you're saying all of these nice things about the program and the scholarship and everything, but is there a catch to it? Like after you receive this scholarship for 2 years, afterwards, do you have to work for B-PHOT? Are you obliged to stay for a PhD or something? Do you have to, I don't know, give courses as like a teaching assistants or something? Is it something like that? Do you have to pay back, for instance?
Personally, for my scholarship, it's not like a catch or something. It's the idea that for the recipients of the full scholarship here are supposed to do their thesis at VUB, at B-PHOT in particular. It's not a catch. It's just like a matter of interest. So it would be like for my advice for the people who apply, to check the excellent and like the rich varieties of work done at B-PHOT and also at the Photonics Research Group at Ghent, and check carefully which fields captures their interests and apply accordingly. Yeah.
Yes,
How
and
about you, Samuel?
it's also the same that we are entitled to do our master thesis with B-PHOT. But no, for a PhD, it's our choice. It's our choice
Yeah.
what to do after the master. And indeed, it has to be at B-PHOT itself.
So the only limitation is that the people who are receiving any type of scholarship from B-PHOT or from the University of Ghent, they have to stay for their master's thesis and do it with their own group rather than through internationalization, go to another university and do it there. Because, for instance, there are a lot of good partners to VUB and B-PHOT and on our program in general. For instance, ECTS, EPFL of Switzerland, that people would maybe like to go and do their master's thesis there. But there is like a limitation there, which doesn't allow you to, but still you can do semester abroad, you can do internships, and everything is made easier for the people enrolling as a master in photonics.
Yes.
So what is the requirement to maintain it? Like you both are in the second year of your masters, and after 1 year, is there a rule or something that tells you if you can keep your funding or you can't? So, for instance, I don't know, a certain GPA or a number of courses passed. Is there something like that?
Yes, there is like a rule for the number of courses passed, but I don't
Yeah.
recall the exact number at this time.
Yeah. How about you, Ahmed?
If I remember correctly, you have like there are 2 requirements. The first one is that you finish the program in maximum of 2 years. That's the time span for the scholarship, and also
Yeah.
that you do not fail the courses. Like in Belgium, you can retake an exam or like go for a reset. It means that you don't get lucky in the first exam, and then you do the exam once more, and you have to succeed through those 2 trials. And in case you don't succeed, then like there are other measurements that could be done to like evaluate the situation.
Yeah, so the mere fact that somebody fails a course maybe doesn't disqualify them for a continuation of the scholarship, but rather other measures would be considered. So surely there are some rules and regulations to be considered to continue your scholarship from the first year to the second year. So if you get the scholarship, you're a good student, of course. All of the students who come to this program are good students, and well, usually it doesn't happen that anybody gets disqualified for the second year. So how has this scholarship helped you? Like, all right, it's just some money that is given to you, but has it increased your focus for your studies? Has it helped your lifestyle here in Brussels? How has it helped you?
Personally, it's my first time that I get out of Egypt, my home country, and totally live independently. So having had the scholarship so far, it's quite convenient in the sense that I don't have to maybe try and search for student jobs and things like that. I'm totally focused on my studies, and of course, it's quite a good thing that you can just do one function of being a student and not like work and also try to study. It gets more challenging, of course. So yeah, it's more it's very, very convenient to just be totally concentrated on one thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree with
your
that.
experience? Yeah.
No, like it's a similar situation indeed. That it helps economically, but it also helps one to become independent because you're going abroad, so you can grow personally with those things.
Yeah, and
And
you get more
yes,
focus on your studies, of course.
yes,
And it gives you a sense of security that, okay, I'm not gonna get into any trouble. I'm not gonna be in a vulnerable situation financially, and so on.
and also it helps for the visa application, for example. Well, because you have like that economical support. Otherwise, it's a bit more difficult and tricky to apply for the visa.
Yeah, but would you guys say, and would you guys say that if somebody comes to Brussels in this program and they're not supported by a scholarship, could they support themselves by working? Do you guys have any experience with that?
Yes, as a student, we have the right to work certain hours per week. So yes, indeed, it's possible. A friend of mine from another master at UB is doing that.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a possibility. And anyways, whenever we do internationalization, so for example, one semester abroad, we get a Erasmus scholarship, like automatically, and that's given for scholarship holders or non-scholarship holders, or
And
if you
does
just do the internship.
all of the students who go abroad for internationalizations get this scholarship, or is it like certain people only?
No, all of them. Well, there are some requirements about the number of credits that you have passed, but no, in general terms, yes, all of the people.
All of the people get
Yeah,
that
like
scholarship.
continuing on that thread, I would like also to mention that like being at VUB or at Ghent, you get the excellent opportunity to do one semester exchange at EBFL or ETH Zurich, which are I guess top 20 universities in the world. So that's a very good advantage of this program as well. Like there are very good collaboration partners that we have.
Yeah, like anything, like if you are a person who likes to travel, it's also a good opportunity to go and travel. If you know
Yes.
a certain center in Europe that you would like to visit, there is also possibilities there. Like there shouldn't be a collaboration or a partnership between the universities to allow you to go there. Things could be arranged for the students in this program, or I think any of the students in this university to actually go where they want and study what they want. But if you couldn't get the scholarship, then what would have changed for you? What would have you done?
Well, in my case, it would have been more difficult for my family. Well, they would have helped me to pursue my master, but yes, like it would have been more challenging, of course.
Yeah.
So indeed, it's a great help, and it gives the opportunity to a lot of international students to have this experience abroad.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I guess it would have been a pity. As I mentioned, it's quite difficult to it would have been quite difficult to just graduate in 2 years, and you'd have to search for student jobs and things like that. I was quite fortunate that I had other offers elsewhere, but as I mentioned, here was like on top of my list of priority. So I'm quite happy that I attained it in the end.
yeah, and well, what would your application's strongest point be? Like you applied for this scholarship for this program, and there were interviews, but what would you guys personally say that your strongest point was, and that helped you to get into this program, get the scholarship personally?
In my case, my personal case, because I did an internship at B-PHOT, and also like my overall knowledge in optics that I had, like my previous background.
Yeah, and how about you, Ahmed?
Well, it's always quite a difficult question to make self-assessment, but I believe it might have been my research experience at the American University in Cairo under the supervision of Professor Nagah Allam, and also my research experience at Mansoura and Zubair University under the supervision of Professor Muhammad Farahat, which like outputted some published articles in the end. And I'm very grateful for both supervisors.
All right. And would you say that the admission committee, the people who interviewed you, would they share the same opinion? Or do you think that this is more like your own feeling about yourself, your CV, and everything when you applied?
Well, personally, I think it's like if you are applying to a master's, it might not be like the top of priorities for students to have some research experience. It's not a commonplace thing to have. So I think like the technical interview itself, the second technical interview, might have more weight than your maybe research track or something. But that's just a speculation. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. And how about you, Samuel? What do you think?
Yes, also this knowledge and maybe an insight that they have, maybe, or how critical thinker you are, for example, things like this.
Yeah. So getting back to people who are not holding a scholarship, well, if they have to work, so they don't have any other means of getting like financial assistance or being supported by their own savings or their families, if they want to work, is the workload of the masters too heavy? Because Ahmed pointed out that it might be that he needed more time to finish the masters. So what is it about the workload? What is your opinion and point of view about the workload of the masters?
Well, in general, it would be very difficult indeed because it has a lot of workload, and that's a comment I have heard from previous students, and I haven't seen any working while
Right.
during the master.
How about you, Ahmed? What do you think?
Yeah, it's I guess for someone who would like to take the masters and also work simultaneously, it might be difficult to just graduate in 2 years since the courses content here is quite demanding for some people. So of course, it depends on the background of the students, but I guess like normally it might take more than 2 years, but it's quite possible.
Yes, and I believe that it can be only maximum until 3 years. There is a regulation about that.
So after 3 years, if you didn't finish your studies, then you're gonna be dealt with another way.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. So getting out of the scholarship and the program, let's talk about your first months in Brussels. I'm sure that you're coming from South America and well, Egypt, and well, how different was it for you? Did you have any problems, any first encountering experiences, any funny stories?
Well, in my case, it went quite well because I was here before, and I had the support for some friends. But indeed, I have been helping some new friends coming and so on for the master, and sometimes there is a bit of cultural shock and so on. But in general, it goes smooth because Brussels is an international city, and also Ghent. Well, both like they can speak English. There is no this big language barrier most of the time, so it's fine. For
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, it's I guess it's always funny when you like inadvertently talk to someone in Arabic, and just like I guess it's very nice here. Most people here are very welcoming. I have some friends who are doing masters in Germany, and they're telling me that the people there are not as friendly and welcoming, maybe like in Brussels, like in here. So yeah, it's I guess it's been a very good experience, and most people I've met are very friendly and welcome.
Yeah. And any striking difference between the cultures that you've seen or the way that people live? Anything specific comes to your mind?
Nothing specific, but yeah, like there's a very large difference between the Middle East and Europe. But I wouldn't say like there was a large cultural shock since since of globalization and things like that. You already know everything about everybody, so the effect of cultural shock is a bit diminished now, I guess.
Yes. Well, I have seen that some people have lunch cold sandwich. That's something a bit sad for me, but the rest is fine.
Normal. All right. Um, so finally, do you have any last comments or remarks for the people who wanna study photonics here at B-PHOT or at the Ghent? Do you have anything to say to them? Any advice?
Although the masters are similar, it's good to check specifically the research groups. So what's your interest? Because there are some subjects that are taught in Ghent or VUB, or you may want to do your thesis there or here at VUB, etc.
Yeah.
I would like also to very much stress what someone just said, especially for the scholarship students, because I think if you are not a scholarship student, you can do your master thesis at either groups. And also, my advice is to always try to ask alumni and more senior students. Personally, I have had the privilege to be surrounded by very nice people who have helped me. So if I may mention names,
Yeah, of
like
course.
many people helped me, like Anas, Ayman, Omar, and of course you, Mahmoud, Poria, David, and also some alumni like Muhammad Abbas and Janik. So yeah, I'm very grateful for them, and I'm also very happy that I have my Egyptian friend, like he's just literally living in the room next to me. So that had made life much easier, I guess, for both of us.
That's
and
amazing.
yeah, I would like also to thank Heidi and Majori for their guidance and help they always try to offer. They made things much easier for us.
Yeah. My final remark would be that it doesn't matter in which university you get or VUB you enroll, you get to study whatever course is offered by both universities, by both photonics groups. So it doesn't matter. But as Ahmed said, for the scholarship students, they have to stay in their own university to do their thesis. So that's the limitation that you get there when enrolling. Otherwise, if you're not a scholarship holder, sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want and finish your studies however you want. So final question that is going to be about your future. So you're in the second year. What is afterwards for you guys? Well, how do you see the future? What is coming after the masters? So for our new students to know what happens after 2 years of studying.
In my case, I'm thinking about going for the industry to experience it more because I haven't had much experience there. So I have an interest on that. But anyways, I'm open, for example, most of the students also choose to go for a PhD, and that's also fine. It's also interesting. Or an industrial PhD as a possibility also.
Yeah, how about you, Ahmed?
Yeah, it's I'm quite interested in the R&D work. Either it was in a PhD or in an industry. I guess I have developed multiple interests and reinforced some of them in photonics throughout my masters. So yeah, I hope I could try to have some maybe either PhD or a job in machine learning, in nanophotonics, and in photonic integrated circuits. And the inverse design of photonic devices. I'm quite interested in one of those fields.
Yeah. So it's very important also to note that almost all of the students who come and finish their studies in one of the photonics departments at Ghent or here at VUB, all of them either go for a PhD or go for the industry, and all of them get something. So the final rate of success afterwards is really high, and it is a really good badge for our program. So on this final remark, I would like to thank both of you for your time and for your enthusiasm and joining for this meeting. It was amazing, a lot of information, a lot of good knowledge for the new students. So thank you guys, and well, bye for now.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Arash, so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for doing this, and thank you for all the help you always try to offer us.
Yeah,
And
my
also,
absolute pleasure.
and also thank you to Samuel. Samuel always tries to help everyone. It was very nice talking to both of you today.
Of course. Also, thank you.